So, with a new season starting this weekend, I thought it would be interesting to do my predictions on the upcoming Gallagher Premiership season. I see lots of Premier League football predictions, but not many ones for rugby. So let's see how this video does, and please let me know your predictions down in the comments. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's get into it. With this season having no relegation, I think it will be a perfect year to breed new talent from the youth. So for that reason, at 13th, I've gone with the London Irish. Irish are notorious for talented youngsters, and right now that is no exception, with the likes of Hassel Collins and Chunya Munga already starring in the team. At the end of last season, they tailed off a little bit, and I do expect this to continue. I do hope they prove me wrong, and I think the battle at the bottom of the table will be a close one with lots of teams pushing for points. But unfortunately, I do have to pick someone at bottom, and it is London Irish. So sorry Irish fans. Just above them in 12th, I've picked Worcester Warriors. Now they were on my radar for last place, but the only reason why I've picked them higher is because of the signing of Duhan van der Merwe. That signing for Worcester is crazy good. Along with Rory Sutherland and the re-signing of last season's star Jamie Shilcock, their squad is getting a lot better. However, I do believe they are still one of the poorest teams in the league. As all teams get stronger, you have to compete by signing these top quality players. And they have done that, so I'm excited to see how Worcester play this season, and I hope they can push on. At 11th, I've chosen Gloucester. Now Gloucester is my team, as I'm born and bred in Gloucester, so putting them near the bottom of the table is a little sore, but it's fully reasonable. So last season, Gloucester had a pretty poor season after Danny Cipriani left near the start of it. So they were left with no real star-studded 10, which was the main reason for their success a few seasons ago. This year, they have signed a new 10 in Adam Hastings, but I feel like their squad is still quite thin and relies on many youngsters. They do have quality back three with Johnny May, Rhys Samet and Ollie Thorley, but their forward pack is yet to prove themselves as a dominant force. So for that reason, they're down the bottom. Obviously unfortunate as a fan. In 10th, I've gone with Newcastle. After an impressive start to the season last time out, somehow finding themselves in first place for a good few weeks. However, much like other bottom sides, their end of the season form tailed off. However, I do rate what Newcastle are doing with Dean Richards. Eddie Jones is also a fan, having selected more than a few Newcastle players for international call-ups not long back. I just feel like they have a very average side and aren't fit to compete with bigger clubs in the Premiership. But once again, I'm here to be proven wrong. Just above them in 9th, I've picked Leicester Tigers, who have had a very poor few last seasons by their standards. They've actually got some exciting players on board, with the likes of Dan Kelly, Freddie Stewart and Jasper Wiese, if he can stay on the pitch. And of course, the experience of George Ford and their forward pack can be one of the most dominant in the league. Steve Borthwick has had enough time now to assert the way he wants to play. Probably a very heavy old school Leicester way. But if he can bring it back and push them back up the table, I'm sure their fans will be all for it. In 8th, I've put Northampton Saints. I feel like Northampton have great quality players with the likes of Dan Biggar and Courtney Laws, but for some reason they always seem to be one of those average teams who just manage to sail their way through a season without any real harm or success. Saints are also producing some young talent with the likes of Fraser Dingwall, Ollie Slightholme and Alex Mitchell. So this non-relegation season will be great for them to go and express themselves, much like they did last season. They've also got a hungry forward pack, with Lewis Ludlam and Tiamana Harrison being the most hungry forwards in the Premiership. So middle of the road for Saints, in my opinion. In 7th, I've got Wasps. I don't think they can top the heights of the season before last, when they got to the final, but I also think they won't do badly. So, saying that, I believe they will finish sort of middle of the road. With their star player Jack Willis still recovering from serious injury, I think they still need some more players in their squad to support key players like Fekitoa. This is because they've lost a few big names from last season, like Limas Apuanga and Will Rowlands in the pack. So on that basis, I think Wasps still need some more depth to move up the table. I've put Bath in a respectable 6th place, and their squad seems to be pretty similar to last season, apart from big departures such as Zach Mercer and Rhys Priestland. However, incoming they have Jaco Costier of the Stormers, who is an explosive back rower, and also Danny Cipriani, and we all know of his quality. If Cipriani can have the same effect he's brought to each team he's played at, I'm sure Bath can maintain the best of the rest in 6th position. We all know how good Bath's backs are, with the likes of Joseph, Redpath, Watson and now Cipriani to unlock them all. If this partnership can blossom, I expect big things from Bath this season. Now this probably won't be a favourite choice for some of you, because I've picked Harlequins to finish just outside the playoff positions, even though they just won the Premiership. A few of their leaders have left the squad in Mike Brown and Scott Baldwin, to name a few. And although they've brought in some decent transfers like Tommaso Allen and Hugh Jones, I believe this Harlequins side are still very early in their development. I know that sounds crazy because they've literally just won the Premiership, but if I'm honest, I don't see them having the same good season again. I hope I'm wrong because I'd love for them to be the underdogs and win it again, but I think the more experienced sides will prevail this season. So the first in the top 4 for me is Sale. I think they've got a really strong setup now, with a very heavy South African influence, which allows them to be a force, especially in the pack. They've also got stars in the back line like Manu Tuolangi and AJ McGinty at 10. Sanderson as head coach has had time to assert his style now, and I'm confident he can pick up where he left off with Saracens. I just feel like Sales' core is really strong this year, and I do expect them to be in the top 4, even if it is at the expense of last year's champions. In 3rd is Bristol. They were very unlucky last season to get knocked out by Harlequins, who just outplayed them on the day, and no one could have predicted such a high-scoring semi-final. However, I think that loss would have hurt them, but I do think it was for the best. Bristol always seem to be playing the best rugby, but they haven't put that into titles. Their team is one of the best in the Premiership, so of course I expect them to finish in the playoffs. Last year's finalists Exeter are in 2nd place for me. Once again, Exeter are one of the teams to beat this year, and with Sam Simmons' record-breaking season last year, I just think they're going to keep building on that, as they always do. They've brought in a few names to bolster their squad, but not many. This is a tactic they've always had, to keep a strong core of Devon and Cornwall players, and it's worked, hasn't it, especially with their double title-winning season. Once again, I'm excited to see them play, as they balance their forward pack and back line in attacks very well. And to top the Premiership, I've gone with Saracens. And of course, there will be question marks with them, because they've only just come back up. But I think the Saracens' mentality is perfect for this situation. When their backs are against the wall, they really thrive, and right now, Sarries are basically the enemy of the Premiership this season. Everyone will be wanting them to fail and lose because of the financial fair play system that they broke. But I think this suits Saracens to a T. So for that reason, I expect them to top the Prem this season. This may be a ridiculous call, but I think my reasoning justifies this. Not to mention, they've got a brilliant squad who have been there and done it, and I hope for England's sake, at least, that their star performers can regain form again. So that's a wrap. There's my predicted Gallagher Premiership table for the season 2021-22. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments on what you think the Premiership table will look like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.